Welcome to episode 78 of Thrashcast. My name's Billy. My co-hosts here today, Jim and Ken, like every week. How are you guys tonight?
Great.
All right, sir.
Uh,
Doing good.
Great. So just let's start with a quick refresh. Where can you find Thrashcast? So at our website www.horrormetalsounds.com, and of course on YouTube, Horror Metal Sounds at KenG.2864, and lastly on Rumble, Spotify, and TikTok. And as always, we ask a favor at this time. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like our weekly podcast. It really helps the channel grow with the algorithm, and we greatly appreciate it. I must admit, Ken, I don't know where we're at. I know we passed 10K, but
We're 11,000, just
oh,
over
there you
11,000,
go.
11,200
All
actually.
right, cool. So yeah, we gained another thousand since what that was pretty quick, eh? That actually,
Mm,
Yeah, a couple of our videos have been doing super well.
yeah.
The rock and roll, we did a couple of additional rock and roll videos. They've done super well.
Hmm.
So people are really jamming on after that, which is great.
Cool. All right, so today's agenda, I mean, for those who watched last week, we actually stumbled onto it in the middle of the episode.
Yeah,
So
we
you
did.
already know, but we're going to focus today on the band Meliah Rage. And we'll talk about a few of the other albums, but more specifically,
nice.
the debut album, Kill to Survive. And then we have sort of, as for our last topic, something a little different. So we'll call it at this point how thrash history could have been different if these 4 or 5 events happened. So more to come on that a bit later.
Cool.
Let's first touch on the news and maybe what you guys are spinning, if anything.
Oh,
Ken, why don't you kick this one off?
Sure. I don't have a lot. I did just I actually heard this today. Les Evans, the former guitarist from Cryptic Slaughter, apparently has a new band.
Hmm.
He left the
really?
band. He left the band in 2023 as a band now called Subversion Trigger. They released a demo in December of last year, but apparently there's an EP now coming out this year. So that's kind of cool. I always like Cryptic Slaughter. Thought they're an interesting band.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just saw this news today. I actually saw it on Facebook. I was like, oh, I had not known that there was a band that he had a new project coming out.
You think it'll be the same style?
From what I was reading about it, it sounds like it's going to be the same style.
Oh, okay.
So it's like crossover thrash. Um, I like Cryptic Slaughter. They're not really well known though. Unfortunately, I don't think they ever really were that well known. But
No, a bit more underground, I guess.
I
But
think
you know
so.
what's neat? Just a tidbit is they were on the rise and decline of Western civilization part two. So they
Right.
were just one band in the street that the girl there that was interviewing everybody and doing it,
Mhm.
the creator of it, Penelope Spheris, she one of the bands that was Cryptic Slaughter. That was pretty cool.
I
When she
like the
was in
name.
when she was right on the strip and she was
Right.
interviewing like bands that were on the strip and stuff like that. That was kind of cool for back then.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the band. I always like their music.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like their album covers, and the name of the band's great. Cryptic Slaughter is
You
awesome.
must like the album cover for Convicted, I think it was.
Yeah,
Where
I have
they're
that album. Yeah, I love
that's
that
I
album.
have it on cassette.
Yeah, you have a cassette? Okay, it's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna send you that, Ken. I'm gonna send you that
Cool.
a couple of those old school cassettes, but I'll send you that Cryptic Slaughter one. That's really it's pretty rare too. It's pretty cool. So
Cool.
yeah, that album cover's cool.
Awesome. And then the only other thing I know you guys probably saw this, the Temple of Void releasing their first new
Yeah,
track, The Crawl. Their album titled The Crawl is coming out on March the 6th. So I'm looking forward to that. I like all their stuff. Doom death metal, pretty
mm.
solid band. I'm looking forward to this is like their fifth album. Kind of excited.
Yeah.
I
I
like
got into
it.
them. I only got into them on their last album. Somebody
Right.
told me to check it out. Year couple. I think it's been out for. I think it was 2022, maybe
I
2021.
think yeah, somewhere around that.
Yeah,
Around
and
there.
it
Yeah.
oh that thing
In a
was
few
just
years.
wicked.
Yeah, they're a great band. I love their stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to that. Just before my birthday, album comes
there,
out.
there you
Can't go
go.
wrong with that. And then for spinning, I guess I've been just listening to mostly Meliah Rage. So I had the live Kill album.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty solid. I mean, it's short. It's only like 5 songs. And funny that they don't have the song live live the survive kill the survive on there, which is weird. But I don't know. It's a good album. I like the album cover art too. It's great. And then I know this one. I don't know if you guys have listened to their third album.
Yes, that's the last one I had.
Yeah, this one's not bad. This is very 1990s Metallica. They went in
Yeah.
that direction. The Metallica worship on the later albums is so evident. That to me, like, it's clear to me that Metallica was a band that they really, really liked.
So you
Well,
mean
that
the
was-
Black
that was-
Album, Ken? It sounds like the Black Album.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds a lot like that. They sort of stripped the sound down. I mean, Solitary Solitude's really good, but this one, yeah, they stripped the sound down a lot. But I don't mind it. It's just, it is what it is, I guess.
And that came out in 96. So
96, yeah.
yeah, Metallica's Black. They really went for Metallica's Black album, I thought. Oh,
Yes, I really feel this album is.
that was the last album I had touched with them. I fell off after that.
Yeah, same here. But I've gone back to listen to other albums, recent stuff. I mean, they've changed vocalists now.
Yeah.
Mineral's no longer in the band, but I mean, yeah. So that's my my homework for this week.
Cool.
Cool. Jim, how about you?
Oh, well, I'm starting off with Creator.
Yeah.
Crushers of the World. I mean, it came out. So this is Thursday. We're recording this. I got it the day before, but it's kind of funny. I fell asleep after work. I haven't even opened it. So it's like I'm bragging online. I got the new album, but I haven't listened to it yet.
You'll like
Where-
it. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
where did you get it from? Amazon or?
Yeah. So I got it the pre-order, and it was $17.
Nice.
So I pre-ordered it probably 4 months ago, and it's came in early. So I love that. That's pretty good. It's Nuclear Blast too. So really, really on the ball. I also picked up this week the Ferrymen. This one here. Yeah.
Great
Ronnie
cover.
Romero
Yeah.
vocals. Kind of like a traditional, maybe even some power metal on it, but really, really good. I think this band has the ability to become bigger. If they, the album art is fantastic on their albums. And it's just Ronnie Romero's done so many projects, including his own solo stuff. He's got a really kind of Dio-esque vocal sound to him. I really like him. So this was really good. I didn't even know it existed. I just saw it and I bought it just based on the cover art. So that was kind of cool.
The cover is great.
Yeah. And I picked up, as I showed you guys prior to, I'm on a big gruesome kick. So this one here, I just pictured Twisted Prayers, and I love the look of the kind of the pastor, the priest.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I think a Striper, Michael Sweet. Here you go, buddy. Listen to some of this. It's just so good, man. It's so good. It's like, man, like we were talking, you like Death, like the band Death, you love gruesome. And I mean, I think it's really, really good stuff. I mean, really cool. I'm going to get all their albums, and you guys have been talking about it for years. And of course I've just been like, oh yeah, it's really good stuff, and listen to it, but never really. It was Ken I got into over Christmas, the new album, which you covered for All Father, and I just got addicted to it. So I'm going to go get I think it's Savage Land is the one before this, or the one after this. So I'm going to get that.
Savage Land is the first album, dude.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the debut album, Savage Lands.
Yeah, I'm going to get that. And
Good album. It's really good.
I kind of picked up a strange one for me, but a good buddy of mine named Johnny Burbank out of where's he from? He's just outside of Pittsburgh. He's right into these guys. Avatar.
Oh yeah.
You can see the balloon there with the kind of
Yep.
it's kind of like a take on it, I guess. And this one's called "Don't Go Into the Forest." So kind of, I think they're Finnish, I believe, a Finnish. Melodic death metal, but more melodic than death metal. So it's pretty good stuff. I guess their earlier stuff, I'm not, this is the first album I've got of them. Came out in 2025, and it's been doing really good. I don't know what their previous stuff is, but everybody raves about it. So, I thought I'd give it a try. I thought it'd be very Ghost-like Ghost, the band Ghost, but not at all.
It's nothing like that. Yeah.
it's a much darker, but it's not like melodic death metal to me would be even like oh god, I
On a
don't even.
Mars to me.
Yeah, they're not like that. I find they're
Oh, I know.
they're probably a little bit more. I wouldn't want to use the word mainstream, but maybe because they're so popular, it might be a little bit more accessible melodic death metal, I guess you could say.
Well, I
You
don't think
know,
they started out that way though, Jim.
no, I think the earlier stuff's a lot. Oh, yes, my buddy told me the earlier stuff's a lot more death vocals, so a
Yeah,
lot
that's
more.
what I recall. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll get into that. I mean, it's not a bad album. I don't know. I'd probably rate this one like a 7.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. For
Right.
my musical taste, my melodic death metal, I like it a little bit more. Who am I thinking of there? Who just brought out one of my favorite albums last year? Oh, I can't even remember, and I listen to them all the time. But I like it a little bit more heavier, and I like my melodic death metal with more harsher vocals. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, not necessarily Cookie Monster vocals, but I do like that as well. But I do like it a little bit heavier. And then I picked up this. I haven't even opened it yet. Catatonia. This
Yeah,
was their
cool.
release this year. I've listened to it. I've listened to it online, and it's pretty good. So I thought I'd give it a whirl.
Cool.
But I love the fact that the new releases now, the biggest new release I think of 2026 is out now, or is out tomorrow, which is going to be the first one, the big four, the Teutonic big four. And I love the fact that you've got Creator with a new album. Last year we had Destruction, Sodom, which was my number 2 pick and was, I think, in all of our picks.
Well, I think even Tankard is putting out a new album this year.
And then we just got to get Tankard on board here. And then, wow,
From my understanding, yeah, they have something in the works as well.
Yeah, they are.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Billy's right. Yeah.
And then
That's
next
what I
week
thought.
we've got the big mighty Megadeth coming out with one, and that's going to be great. And just for everybody out there, and Ken and Billy kind of talked me into it. I did pick up the meet and greet for Anthrax in Halifax.
Yeah, you did good, bud. Awesome.
So you know what? You guys were right. Billy said, Jimmy, when are you going to see this? Like, when is this going to take place again?
It might be
Like,
your
yeah,
last time ever,
exactly. And it was, I got to admit, like, Billy, you had brought up, how much was it for the Megadeth meet and greet? It was
That was
$500.
insane.
No,
Yeah.
I've never. I mean, I've been to like 50 meet and greets, so
Yeah.
I've never seen one like this before. You actually go in and you have to select the band member you want to meet. So, like, if you want to see Dave, it's like I it was either $3.99 or $4.99.
Holy
That's
cow.
crazy.
And then you pick the other guys, right? So if you wanted to meet the whole band, the other guys were all like between 160 and 180.
That's crazy.
But like the only thing I could figure is obviously nobody's gonna go to a meet and greet and not see Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for them to split the meet and greets like that, that means Dave doesn't want to share the meet and greet money with the
Of
whole
course he
band,
doesn't.
obviously.
Yeah.
Like they're on their own. If someone wants to see them, that's a separate transaction.
Can you imagine?
And
I'm
then
here to
there's like
see the
stuff
drummer.
like he'll only sign one personal item.
Ah,
Like there's these rules and stuff.
I
But
don't like
I knew
it.
it was going to be much more strict in Anthrax.
Yeah, but come on, man. Like if you're done, if you're retiring, and like, throw a little extra in there for people. Like, fuck off.
Well, I was hoping that maybe even Exodus would have a meet and greet, but no. Is that like do you think they
They're
maybe?
not?
No, I couldn't find one on their website. So it was kind of like, that kind of sucks a little bit, because kind of wanted to meet them and see what was going on. And but anyways, so the Anthrax one was pretty cool, and
Yeah, I'm glad you got it.
yeah, and I mean, you guys were right. It was like, what else? It's pretty cool. You get so you meet the whole band. You get a photograph with Anthrax, and a special edition tour print signed, and Billy, you said those are usually really good.
Yeah, I have some really nice Slayer ones that
Yeah,
that are really good.
and you get the set list fully signed and commemorative, VIP laminate, so that'll be cool. And I can walk around like Wayne from Wayne's World, and and it's I mean I don't know how many they have left or anything like that, but it's very limited. I think maybe like what's the usual count? Usually like what 100 people or even less than that.
I mean, I've seen 20 and I've seen
Oh,
like 150 before.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like generally, the fewer there are, the better it is, right? The band will
Yeah,
have
we get
a
more
bit more
time.
time.
yeah,
And especially if each of the bands are doing VIP. So
yeah.
we're all sharing that venue, right? Most of the VIPs are in the afternoon,
Okay,
like before the show even starts. So,
like what, an hour or so?
sorry?
It's usually right before, like an hour or so before. Or...
I've done, like, I remember doing a couple of obituary VIPs and they were at 2 o'clock on a weekday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just watch if it's a weekday, Jim. Make sure you have the afternoon off because
Oh, yeah, because I've got an at-home meeting that day. It's a
yeah,
whole,
like you'll
yeah.
get this start time like only maybe a week at the most
It's
before.
saying 3 days prior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mm.
Just get ready to call in sick or something.
Oh no, I got a whole meeting I gotta do. They called a meeting and we gotta all take it from home. I was hoping to be done by 4.
Oh shit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I doubt that. Like Megadeth would probably start at like 4 their meet and greet,
Oh yeah.
4 or 5, and then you'd have Anthrax before. But
Yeah.
oh well, you could do the meeting with Anthrax.
There you go.
Cool. Anything else on your end, Jim? Or?
No, that's everything. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, just one quick news item. I just saw it today. We're speaking of Exodus. Gary Holt came out and said the new single is going live next week.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
cool.
Oh,
All
I
right.
know we all prefer Steve Souza, but I mean, I still curious. Like I love Gary Holt's guitar playing, so
Yeah.
I still want to hear the new material.
Well, sure, sure.
Yeah. So and then album still confirming expected in March. So that'll be cool. And then a couple things what's spinning, not really too much thrash, but I picked these up over the over Boxing Day. Um, the starting with the first Black Sabbath self-titled album,
Nice.
and then the second, and
Oh,
so
nice.
paranoid. So for vinyl collectors, these are the record label Rhino, their Hi-Fi series. So these are like twice the price of a normal record, but I got them for the normal price on Boxing Day
Cool.
sale. But these are actually pressed literally from the original master tape, so they sound like very different than the regular pressing you would buy in the store. So yeah, they sound fantastic. Like I'm sure they don't sound as good as those original UK presses, but
Yeah.
those also cost hundreds of dollars. But so I was happy with them. But so this got me in the kick. So I've been playing these two Black Sabbath albums all week. And then I just found two of these used CDs recently on a trip. So Marty Friedman,
Ooh, good
Loudspeaker,
one.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good
nice.
one.
one of his solo albums from
Yeah.
like early 2000s. And then a band that I've always I never can find their albums, but I came across this used Anthem.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
so the Japanese metal band. So this one's Overload. So often considered one of their third or fourth better albums. So that was
Cool.
pretty cool to find that. I don't come across them. It has the full Japanese hype sticker and all the stuff is all in Japanese. So
What store did you find it at, Philly?
our usual place, Sonic Boom.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
That was that
Cool.
day I told you somebody sold their collection.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I went in that day later on in the afternoon, but
Yeah,
all most of it
that's
was
my
gone.
fault. I only told you like the day after.
That's okay.
uh, all right, cool. So that's what's going on here. So let's move over to the band of the day, Meliah Rage. So I figured a quick bio. I mean, a lot of us old guys know of them, but they weren't necessarily the most popular band. So a little detail, I guess. So the guys were from Boston, formed in '86. Generally referred to as a thrash band, but yeah,
Hmm.
we'll talk about that like a fair amount. Like a lot of their albums are not necessarily pure thrash. 11 albums to date, 10 studio albums, one live, also a compilation. The band actually has been going for pretty much throughout time, right up till 2021.
Yeah.
They took a bit of a break for a few years, reunited actually in 2021, and have been back. New album, we talked about it last week, Slaves in the Afterlife. That's how we landed on this topic. The band is touring. They're actually going to be in Montreal in May. So that's pretty cool. There's two sort of OG members, both the guitar players, Anthony Nichols, who I think is probably the main songwriter,
Yeah.
as well for the band, and Jim Curry. Drums and bass have changed over time. We're going to be focusing more on the first two albums with vocalist Mike Monroe, but currently the band vocalist is Paul Souza. So a bit of a revolving door of some of the musicians. Anything you guys would want to add about the band or their background?
Well, Paul Souza, funny enough though, Billy, he sounds just like
Mm.
bro. They're very
I haven't
similar.
heard them. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I gave it some of the later stuff just a casual listen,
Okay.
Yeah.
and he's virtually the same vocalist.
Really? No.
Yeah, they're very very similar, but I prefer Monroe over this guy. But yeah, I found that kind of funny.
I admit I lost track of them. Like I bought
Mhm.
Survive when it came out, and then I bought Solitary Solitude when it came out, and then I lost the band from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
had the
never.
110 head there from 96.
Oh yeah,
That's the last
that
one I
Valley Dream.
purchased.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But I totally, I will be honest with you, just like you guys, I didn't, or just like Billy there, I didn't know they were even still around.
I knew they were still around.
Wow.
I knew they were still around.
Mm. Cool.
They
Okay.
got some great album art though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the first. I like the album art on the live album. I like the first album cover, and I like the one on
Yeah.
Solitude.
Cool. Well, we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's jump into some of the questions. So this we alluded to this a bit earlier, I guess. So do you consider Meliah Ray like Meliah Rage? I always hear them being referred to as a thrash band. And so my question to you guys is, how do you classify them? Like for me, it's more of a US power metal, not Euro metal, not Euro power metal, but US power metal meets thrash to some degree, but a lot of very melodic band too at times. So,
Yeah.
how would you guys classify them, Ken? Let's start with you.
Well, oddly enough, I think they get grouped into the same category as like Metal Church.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like sort of
Great
semi
point.
kind of metal, heavy metal thrash. I think the two bands are very very similar to some
Yeah.
degree. Yeah, the first album. Well, I know we're going to talk about this, but there's a lot there is thrash. There's some speed metal, and there's definitely some British new wave there as well. Like there's a
Mhm.
mix. It's not one style. Maybe it's the covers that get people thinking it's thrash metal, and the logo is pretty much like a
And
kind
the
of
name.
and the name, yeah, and the name. So I guess they're a combination, but like Zentrix, they kind of like if
Mhm.
you look at the first three Zentric albums, same thing. They by the time they got the third album, they were a former shell of what they were. This is the same. Like I think Death Valley Dream is totally like that. It's like
Yeah.
not even thrash. It's like
No.
a different style. And
Yeah.
if you
No.
look
Yeah.
from the second album to the first, the totally different style to some degree. So
Yeah.
it's hard to pin down. So I would say it's a combination of like speed metal, thrash. It's a combination of many things. They're not
Yeah.
one style alone, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, the Zentrix is comparable for like when you get to the third album, but I
Right,
would
right.
say Zentrix was a lot heavier and thrashier on
Mhm.
the
Yes.
third album.
Yes.
But yeah, Jim, what do you think?
Well, like pretty much what you guys. I kind of got the speed metal parts that I got was from like an Exciter type deal, and the Metal
Good one.
Church, yeah, and the Metal Church comparison is
Yeah.
exactly it because Metal Church, I often lump them in as thrash, but I think like Meliah Rage, Metal Church, these guys are more to me just heavy, maybe thrashy or heavy metal. And I think that's like it's more of a, but yeah, definitely on some of the songs on this album and off of Solitary Solitude, not so much off of the Death Valley one the last one I got. I find there's more of a new wave of British heavy metal, maybe set to a bit more like heavier playing. So I consider them thrash only because I love thrash, and I just same thing as Metal Church. I don't necessarily consider Metal Church full on thrash. I generally, yeah, that's a great comparison. But I also the speed metal aspects of it would be more of an exciter feel. Like you got the from Heavy Metal Maniac. You've got that sort of fast but really heavy. They're not thrash; they'd be more speed metal. Them guys, but I think it's a great mix in between. But it's kind of a weird kind of a genre, sort of dipping. They kind of dip into so many genres. It's pretty good. And then I know one of your questions is about Monroe's singing. I think the clarity of his singing is more clear than even from the big four thrash bands to some degree. So, not that I want to give away your question, but I think that also adds to the fact that it's
well, just run with it, Jim, because that was the next question.
So. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I like his
good segue.
Sorry. I think his singing is what also helps define the fact. I mean, technically more thrash metal has clean singing, of course. We know that. But, you also can get like, Bobby Blitz from Overkill, where it's not necessarily fully clean, just with his how high he goes and that. Even with in Testament as well with Chuck's, he can zip in and out of death metal no problem. But I find the singing on this album extremely clear, and there's that difference between the music and the vocals a little bit more on this, and I really like it. I mean, I think he's a great singer, and I did listen to some of the new stuff like Ken had mentioned, and the other singer is Sousa is very similar to Monroe's singing, and I think that obviously they did that by by form, by design, yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I think it's Mike that makes it U.S. power metal for me.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
like he's singing there's all his songs, even the heavier, thrashier songs on the debut album. He still has this underlying melodic phrasing.
Yep.
On everything that pretty much that I think it just precludes it from being thrash.
Well, that's another good point, and I think that. I don't know if that was another one of your questions, but the melodic verses and the melodic sound of this album does kind of take it out of that thrash element. There are some great chugs on this album, but I find less than there would be this is nothing like any of the big four American thrash bands' first album, second album, third album. This is a lot more melodic for sure, and I think that's why as soon as Billy brought up, as soon as Ken brought up Metal Church, I was like, damn, that's where I've heard this before, kind of.
And this is probably part of the problem, right? I mean, let's face. I mean, I think we both are going to love these first two albums for sure. Yeah. But there's no denying, they're sort of not being nailed to one style.
Yeah.
It's not that different from Metal Church, right? I mean, Metal Church is probably definitely more popular than
yes,
Meliah Rage, but both are never really made it to that next.
No.
And maybe it's just their style is just too mix of too many things. I don't know. But Ken, what do you think?
Well, I agree with you both. The style of the vocals. I still, to me though, he has a very husky. He has a kind of husky delivery at times, and for me, he kind of comes across as a little bit of James Hetfield.
Yep.
At times, and I do hear a lot of Dave Mustaine from the phrasing and the way he kind of he talks and speaks some of the lyrics. And you get that style. I think he's somewhat in the middle, but he's good. I think he's really, really good. He's got a clear delivery. I like the way he enunciates words when he sings. And yeah, he's got this kind of husky husky tone that just kind of separates them a little bit from, like, say, Dave Mustaine or even.
But that's a great thing. That's exactly it, because on, like, I don't want to give away my ratings and stuff, but song 3, I find it's very. I wrote down that it has a very early Megadeth sound, vocally and musically.
Absolutely.
So that's true. You're right. It's got elements of all that, but they go back to what Billy was saying. Maybe that's why Metal Church never really hit that crescendo of, popularity. I mean, I know we all know the issues that band has had.
They've had a
lot of tragedy and stuff, but still, I mean, those first Metal Church albums are some of the best heavy metal albums there are.
Yeah, The Dark is a fucking killer.
Yeah.
But they've never been able to really make it beyond like being a third opener or something like these.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Or they're rarely touring even.
And you never hear them. I mean, you never hear them like of even the second wave of American thrash or thrash. You never hear like we talk about Overkill, we talk about Testament, we talk about even the C grouping, like with even Forbidden, all the other bands that are coming in, and like Sacred Reich and that sort of thing. And we never really include Metal Church, and you never really hear a lot about it. When they're being talked about, like they're never, people say, oh, what's the big, what would be the fifth of the big five? A lot of people would go Testament or Overkill or whatever, you never hear that.
It's funny, I never considered them thrash. Like never.
Yeah.
Like to me, anytime I ever even hear them being referred to as thrash, you'll get like 100 people in the comments. Like, that's not thrash. It's like people take offense to calling them Metal Church.
But I think though, Billy, when The Dark came out, they toured with a lot of thrash bands. Second and third tier. So I think maybe people just assumed that about them because they were, I guess, lumped into that category.
Yeah.
At least I would think.
But anything after sorry, I was just gonna say anything after The Dark, there's no way I would call that thrash.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that album in particular really kind of cemented them in that style for that time, but they're definitely not I wouldn't call them a thrash band either. And then you saw what Kurt posted like a couple of weeks ago. He was saying that he's going to continue on, but it looks like the band that he's got is pretty much dead on arrival, which is kind of sad.
Well, it sucks because Lopes, the singer they got for their last album.
Yeah.
I could see the writing on the wall because he had an interview on the Metal Voice, and like I watched it live, and then it got removed. And when I reached out, they said, "Oh no, he wasn't allowed to do an interview." So he was his wings were kind of clipped. Okay. Yet he didn't give anything away. He was just talking about the new album that was coming out. So I think there's a lot of control there, obviously. But I agree. But you know what? Metal Church went on tour. I think they were part of the American or the European leg of Metallica's first, where they were headlining, where Metallica was headlining. I think Metal Church was one of their first. They took them out with them, so that was kind of cool. Like right after the Ozzy tour with Metallica, where Metallica was opening for Ozzy. I think when they went on, I think it might have been Europe. They brought Metal Church with them. I just saw an interview with Jason Newsted, and it was an old interview with Lars saying they like bringing Metal Church out with them because they were good friends. So, cool. Yeah.
Cool. I only saw Metal Church once, actually.
Oh, did you?
Saw them once? I've never seen them.
They were opening for Wasp on the Headless Children tour.
Okay, cool.
I saw it in Montreal, and then they threw on like Sword as well.
Oh, cool.
Sword. Cool.
That was cool.
Awesome.
But maybe that's, back in the day in the 80s, and, when they did a tour, they never crossed genre too many. I think that's probably what Bill or Ken, what you were saying. Like a lot of people would lump them in because if they went out with Metallica, you'd think, okay, they're a thrash band, even though Metallica first went out with Ozzy. That was kind of interesting. And I guess Metallica went out with Raven a lot because they shared the label, and same with I guess Armored Saints. So I don't know.
Yeah. They also took like on their Canadian dates, they were good friends with Sword.
Yes, very good.
Sword did a lot. I mean, they were doing a lot of their Montreal and Quebec dates. So
Yeah.
And they raved about Sword as well. So it's cool. Like, give a band, it doesn't have to be all thrash, right? Like
No.
mix it up a bit.
No.
That's cool.
Well, that's a good point because Sword to me is a really heavy metal band. I love Sword.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, next question. So we got Kill to Survive. We're going to deep dive that. But again, band most known for the first two. This is the second
Mhm.
Yeah, good album. Yeah, love
album
that
here,
tune.
Solitary Solitude. So do you guys have a preference? Ken, let's go to you. Thoughts on
Um,
Solitude as well?
I like them both. I
Yep.
actually like them both, but for different reasons, though. I see. Solitary is way more refined.
Mhm.
They definitely lean more to the thrashier side of the spectrum with the album, so they cut down the speed. So I like it. I mean, it has a lot of really good songs on it in my mind. That Retaliation is a really good song. The Witching I totally love. It has a really like addictive chorus. It's so great. And then Razor Ribbon, and I know people were like shitting on that song, but I actually like it. I like it quite a bit. The only thing I'll say is that you start to hear a lot of the influences of Metallica and Megadeth in it. That's the one thing you could pick it out. But beyond me, I like it. I totally think it's a solid record that probably doesn't get talked a lot about, like you were saying, Billy. I don't think
Mm.
anyone really talks about it, but it's good. It's a really good record.
Yeah. They reissued like all the old stuff.
Mhm.
One of the European labels. That's what these are. Like about 6 or 7 years ago. So that was cool that they brought it back.
Yeah, why not? Why not
With
reissue
the
them?
Hammerheart, I think it's Hammerheart Records. These are on.
Oh, Hammerheart. Okay, yeah, I've heard that label. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if anybody's looking for them,
You
I
can
don't know
get
if
them
they
there.
still have them, but I think I had to get them from Europe and get them shipped.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
no, I'm with you, Ken. Like I like them both, but for same thing,
Yeah.
right? Like Solitude is like a darker, it's heavier and maybe more intense, right? Where Kill is a little bit more melodic and easier.
Speed.
Yeah,
Right.
like a bit more. And somebody said it too, right? New wave of traditional metal in there, and so yeah. But they're both good. They're a good combo, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
Jim, what do you got?
Yeah, I remember I bought probably Solitary Solitude before I got the first album. So for
Mhm.
me, I picked it up in a bargain bin in Sam the Record Man. It was like, what the hell is this? And I bought it, and then I got Kill to Survive. But I was really shocked to find out, well, to realize that these guys were originally signed to Epic Records. So
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah,
blows me away. Like you think to
they're on a
yourself,
good label.
I guess it kind of blows me away that and this label did not get behind any of these albums. These were two
Wow.
great, could have been two. I mean, 1988, 19, what was the other one? 1990. You're right in that hotbed of thrash, death metal, heavy metal. I mean, these albums should have been a lot more, a lot more known. I mean, I put my Solitary Solitude cassette online there last year. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I remember them," and everybody remembers them, but I don't. I'll be honest. I didn't know they had 11 records until I started digging
Yeah, it's
through.
funny.
And
That's
yeah,
funny.
like
Mm.
kind of sad in a way. But I mean, and then some of the record labels they went on were probably pretty small, obviously. But I like the fact that I like them both exactly what Ken said for two totally different reasons. They're kind
Yeah.
of two kind of the genres they kind of pick at the first ones. The first album is they kind of go into a different genre on the the
Hmm.
second album, and yeah, definitely more of a Megadeth, Metallica influence, which would make sense because if you're writing a record, you see, at 1990, the track record of those two bands. Why the hell
Yeah,
not?
they blew up at that time, right?
Exactly. Anybody who was like a B or a C band that was writing very similar to a Metallica or Megadeth, I mean, it would be instant win,
Yeah,
But you know,
absolutely.
I mean, so many of the questions that Billy's asking here kind of tie into each other because if this was out earlier, which I don't, it definitely I think would have exploded more.
Hmm. Well, what? Kill to Survive was 88, right?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm talking, like I mean, Kill 'Em All came out in '83. I think this would have came out in like '85. And maybe the second album in '88, and then by then they could have maybe had a couple more albums under their belt before '91 or whatever. I think maybe they would have held on to their stayed with Epic a little longer. I don't know. You know what the music business is like. God, if they don't sell a million back then, you weren't considered. If you didn't sell 100,000 your first couple of weeks or whatever, you were like, what's going on? Like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's the interesting thing, right? Like you get to 1990,
Mhm.
89, all the big, I mean, not Meliah Rage's fault. Like all
No.
their peers had the same fate, right? Like
Well,
they all
Testament.
jumped on the big record labels, and then the big record labels dumped them all in like 91 or 92.
Well, you think Testament lost their record deal in '93, I think, after Low, or in
I mean,
Yeah.
'94,
Flotsam lost it
and
in like 91.
Yep.
yeah, and they
Flossing.
went to Burnt Offering Records, which isn't even around anymore. Like, I just, it's like, and then, still though the record buying community was still buying records in '94. So even if you were on a small label and they could keep up with some production, people were at least able to buy it compared to like now. You would just be streaming and nobody would buy it. So I just, yeah, I agree. I think these two albums especially should have been should have been way bigger than what they are. And it, like, I would assume I just picture, and we all knew this happened anyways, because you watch, like, and I brought it up with Rise and Decline of Western Civilization, and this isn't hair metal, I'm not saying that, but the hair metal movement that happened years earlier in the LA, and at this time, everybody was getting signed to record labels and big record deals only because they wanted a hair metal band. Okay, you need to have a one ballad, and then eventually it came out, well, maybe we'll put two ballads on an album. Oh yeah, no, and then that was an instant success. Like Warrant, they put Sometimes She Cries and Heaven on there, and then, oh wow, it sold millions of copies, we need to recreate. They wanted to keep recreating it, and I think maybe this was the case. Great band, but didn't come out of the gate swinging fast with sales, and then obviously they ended up dropping them. So
And then, of course, grunge came, and that's
yeah.
the labels didn't want to do any metal; they wanted to do grunge. So
Yeah.
Right.
timing wasn't great, as you said. All right, cool. So I think I admitted my ignorance in terms of the later albums. Anything you guys want to mention, like beyond Solitary Solitude, recommend for listeners? Ken?
Well, Death Valley Dream is
Yeah.
pretty good. I mean, it's for being somewhat of a '90s Metallica clone.
Yeah.
The music is good. It's nothing wrong with it.
8 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
What's that?
I said it's
Yeah,
an 8
10?
out of 10
Yeah,
record. Yeah.
yeah. I would be in on your side of the fence as well, Jim. It's a good solid record, so you could go there and hear it. Beyond that, like
It's
the
repetitive.
later stuff is kind of okay. I
Yeah.
mean, um, Mike came back for a Masquerade in 2009. That's kind of okay. And then they bring in Paul Souza again, and then they flip flop. Idle Hands in 2018 is actually not bad. Um, I don't know. Barely Human 2004 is
Yeah.
they're all kind of just okay. And you find that we've talked about this on many podcasts, how thrash bands in like the late 90s, 2000s, they all start to homogenize into the same kind of style. I think this band falls into that category. It's like, oh yeah, it's sort of, we've heard it, we've seen it, but I would recommend going to Death Valley Dream personally.
Yeah.
That'd be my recommendation.
Cool.
Yeah. I think that's the start. I agree with Ken. That's the start of maybe a safer sound. And they cloned themselves pretty good after the Black album. But I found and I'm with Billy on this. After that album, I didn't know much else. So I listened to a few songs and a few from at least every album. I found it kind of repetitive, good, like not bad. I mean, good, but just not
it's the same. All the same.
Yeah, it's the same, and it's almost like, well, we're going to put it. when they put an album out and it's like, I'm not saying just these guys, but when a band puts an album out just based on, okay, we're just going to put an album out, and it's like, well, what's neat, what's great about this album, and I don't know, it just kind of it was very repetitive for me. Not bad, but I mean, not nothing like those first three, and I even say the first three albums, because that Death Valley one's pretty good. I always liked that album.
Yeah.
So we may have tackled this next question. I mean, if you guys want to throw anything on, but Meliah Rage's discography, does it still hold up today, or does it sound dated? So I don't know. Anything you guys want to add to on that front, Ken?
Well, I guess the first two are the solid, like the classic albums, really. But yeah, I don't know if it all holds up. I mean, I love the first two albums, even for this podcast, going back to re-listen.
Yeah,
they're great. It's like I haven't listened to them a lot. It's funny, when we talked last week about them, I haven't really listened to them a lot over the years. But hell, going back to these two albums, and even Death Valley Dream, they're all decent, solid thrash albums. Well, a mix of everything. You can't just say straight thrash, but they're all solid albums. So those albums hold up for sure. Later stuff, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the production on the first two albums was really solid for the time frame. And I mean, one was one was 90, so I guess it would be, pretty good then. But the 88, this one we're talking about, was really, really good production. I thought the mix was really good on it. I mean, I don't know if I'm listening online to whether it's a re-record or what. It was dated the date it came out, but that could be just the copyright date. There was no extra songs on the ones I was listening to. And my OG cassette has just the 7 songs on it, but I don't dare put that in a cassette player. I'm worried it would get eaten. But I think the production on the songs were really good. And I think it stands up. The first two albums stand up pretty good. The Death Valley, I think it was really good. I think after that, it just gets kind of a little derivative in the sense that it's the same, but I think their stuff's pretty good. I mean, I can't wait to hear they got a new album coming out, so I can't wait. Hopefully they maybe take it in a bit more of a heavier direction would be good, or pick a full-on genre to some degree, and like leave the 90s kind of behind, kind of jump into what's hot right now. Hopefully they'll have some great solos and stuff on there. I'm really curious to find out what it's going to be like. I hope it's a coroner situation where we're, it makes all our lists, and it's really this kind of a left field surprise of the year. I really hope they get that. So.
Yeah, no, agree. I'm pretty curious. To see what they come up with. So I looked online. There's no like sneak clips or nothing, right?
No,
like on the band's social media, they haven't even linked like a couple seconds worth of material.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. So.
And if these guys, like if hopefully they're still not stuck in the 90s pre social media.
Who knows, dude?
It was funny though. Like I posted a mini review of Kill to Survive on my Instagram page. When was that? Yesterday? Yeah, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
And said, I just said we're preparing for the Thrashcast, and the band reposted it today. So
nice.
That's kind of cool.
Great.
So they're obviously looking at social media.
Yeah, good for them.
Well, if they're jumping back in, that would make sense, right? If they're reformed and apparently, from what I've heard, they want to do a big kind of tour and a big return for 2026. So I guess it would make sense.
Oh, it would be cool.
I was just worried when I tagged them that I'm going back to the first album, right? Like, how sometimes the bands want to focus on new music, and I'm going back to the beginning. I did talk about the people get ready for the new album coming out. So
yeah. Fair enough.
But anyways, okay, cool. Let's touch base as we always do on the artwork. So you guys could share
Oh,
your
I love it.
reports again.
Yeah, me too. I
Kill
love
to
it too.
Survive and
Anthrax.
Solitary Solitude. Ken, why don't you kick off? I don't know if they're the same artist, different artists.
It's a different artist. Paul Hebert is the original artist on the first album and the Live Kill album.
Yeah.
So Howie Weinberg did the artwork for Solitary Solitude, so it's a different artist. But I think what the point of your question was, do you think it would be acceptable today for the
I was
iconography
going
of
to
the
bring that up too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I don't think it's a problem, dude. And
Yeah.
I say that because Anthrax uses this iconography all the time,
Yeah.
and they never get any blowback for it. And they wrote the song Indians and had a video, and that always got good reception. So I don't necessarily feel like these album covers. I kind of like them. They're very
So do I.
I think they're very like this one here. It's so very like
Yeah.
kind of 80s horror paperback style
Yeah.
illustrations on both. So I could see and I know that the first album is very like there's a lot of horror inspired lyrics on it. So it's obvious where their mind was thinking. So no, I don't think so. I think this is acceptable for me.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, no, like it's fine. I don't really have a problem with it either, but I've got and we're referring a bit more to the indigenous like themes of the
Yeah, of course.
album
Yeah,
cover and I mean, let's face it, like I mean, people should be able to do the artwork they want. That's my view.
yeah,
But we
Yeah.
do
exactly.
know, like in the US, major sporting teams had to change their name
Like
for
Cleveland.
even
Yeah.
less of a connection than what this album cover does. So it's
Redskin.
not like completely out there.
No. Your point's really fair. It's a
Yeah.
good point. I just think though I have a feeling for like thrash bands or metal bands. I don't think anyone cares. I don't think the
Yeah.
bands are big enough for that to happen. Now, a sporting franchise like the Washington Redskins, yeah, I could see
Or
that being
Cleveland
an issue.
Indians.
Yeah, no,
Or
that's
Cleveland
true.
Indians.
Yeah,
You're talking major sports franchises, but
yeah,
thrash bands, I don't think anyone really cares, to be
yeah.
honest.
And let's face it, that's relatively. I mean, you look at Cannibal Corpse covers or stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's far worse
Oh
than.
yeah.
But anyways, who knows? I'm guessing
Yeah,
you, Jim.
it's definitely not eaten back to life.
No. No.
Oh, I love it too. I think that's great. It reminds me of Anthrax only because, Anthrax.
That's good
But I mean,
comparison.
Anthrax has celebrated, indigenous people
Yep.
and Native Americans, and I think they talk, they sing the song is about their plight, and same with even like Iron Maiden with Run to the Hills, So I think maybe in the metal community there's a little bit more of
Respect.
yeah, exactly. It's a respect factor, but I love. I mean, for the artwork, it's so cool. And in all fairness, in the 2015 album, Before the Kill, he's got another skeleton and a headdress on that. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
and I think it's so cool, but it's so striking. I think that's pretty neat. So, but I definitely get it, Billy, because especially that's the first thing I went to was the sporting teams and thinking how long before Chicago Blackhawks will become, I don't know, the
Oh, don't
Chicago
say that, dude. Don't ever
the
say
Chicago Bears.
Well, they're getting pressure. Like, make
Yeah.
no mistake
Yeah.
about it. They got pressure on it.
Yeah.
They didn't change it.
I love the Blackhawks logo. That logo's
Oh, I
awesome.
know. It's a little bit more respectful than the Washington Redskins.
Yeah. I would think so. Yeah. Okay.
And the Cleveland Indians one was kind of, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyways, I thought it was. Every time I think of the Cleveland Indians, I think of Major League with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's jump into Kill to Survive. We'll do our normal track by track rundown. We haven't done that for a while, right? We did our
No, we have not.
and we did our 2025. We took like a 3-week break for the holidays, so we got to get back into the swing of it, I guess.
Yep.
So yeah, going back to Kill to Survive, first track, Beginning of the End, Jim.
So yeah, when you listen to this album, I mean, the first track kind of gets a hold of you. I think the biggest thing that when I listened to, I would have listened to the second album first, and then got this. But for somebody starting with this, I think the first thing you're going to think about is, wow, how clean the lyrics, like the vocals are. That's the
Yeah,
first thing. I think it's got a really, this song especially has more new wave of British heavy metal vibes and more of a
absolutely. Yeah,
traditional heavy metal. It's got a wicked guitar solo. I mean, the vocals are just great. I think it's a, like, there's only 7 songs on this album, but there definitely isn't. And what I like about this band is there's no repetitiveness on these albums. So on the first 2 albums, and that's what I really like. I think it's a great song, great way to start off an album. It's not my favorite song on the album, but there's some, I like it a little, like their heavier stuff a little bit more, but I think it's a great way to start the album and get everybody's attention on these guys. He can sing, and they're class, they're great musicians. And I think this song definitely throws that out there.
Yep. Ken?
yeah, I agree, Jim. I mean, it's a short ripper, and
Yeah.
obviously like a homage to new wave of British heavy metal for sure. I mean, you read those lyrics, and it's blunt. It's all about a war torn vision of human destruction. So it's interesting. They're interesting, and it's 3 minutes long, so it's never
Yeah.
boring, and it gets right to the point. So it's fast. The solo is great, and it gets right to the point. So for an opening song, yeah, it's pretty solid. Like you get, co-written by Michael Monroe and Anthony Nichols. They do a good job with it. Yeah,
And you know what? It reminds me of a Motorhead track without Lemmy's vocals.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not my favorite song on this album, but
No.
as an
No.
opening track, it's pretty solid.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I largely agree. I think what makes this thing good is just their ability, which is what I think is the whole first album, the ability to blend melody and aggression, right? Like
Yes.
Yeah,
they just do it so well. And yeah, like I agree, new wave of British heavy metal, but I also go back to early like US power metal too,
Mhm.
like a Jag
mhm.
Panzer or something like that. But and really like this one's probably not one of the faster tracks that which is okay. It creates some variety, but what I think they're really good at is, and maybe that's because the guitarists are heavily involved in the songwriting, but just the riffs are like really rhythmic, like they're catchy, they're hooky. The chorus is really catchy on this thing. Like my only knock on all these songs, which is a bit surprising, other than the instrumental, of course, but is like given how heavily involved the guitarists are in the songwriting, the solos are like never more than like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
I noticed
solos
that.
are so like it's like oh,
Really
it's
short.
really amazing. Oh, it's so done already. Like
Yeah.
there's like maybe one other song where they extend it, but it's maybe half of what any other band would do in a solo. So
They're more like mini solos. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's still good because the riffs are strong and they carry the song. And most of the songs are well, I shouldn't say most are short. There's a couple 6 or 7 minute ones, but all the 3 to 4 minutes, there's not a lot of time for big solos, I guess. I don't know. So Bates Motel, Ken, why don't you start here?
Oh, this is a song. This is where it gets better for me.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you start hearing their horror inspired lyrics, and what better way to write a song about, Norman Bates. So it's kind of cool there. Like, the way they structure the song, it's all about Psycho. So you find out that Marion Crane's murder, Norman Bates is the son, and he's a fractured psycho killer. It's great. So they throw all that kind of commentary in there, but the song is great. I like the song quite a bit. Um, Monroe is a very kind of cheeky vocalist a little bit at times. Like you'll get it, like at 1:59 he says Bates Motel, it awaits you. Like he starts playing with that little bit of fun, kind of cheeky horror vibe, and I like it. I like it. And, it's got some good parts. The riffs are great. They're just so razor sharp. But again, the solo is too short. I it's way too short. But
Yeah.
the song is great overall. I love this song.
And Mike, to your point about Mike, and like he also throws in the not necessarily this track, but or even this track, I think he does, but he
Some
does a
gang
lot of like
vocals.
evil laughing, like out of
Yes, yes,
nowhere on
yes.
many. Yeah, he does it on this one too, I think, towards the end. But
I
Mhm.
think at the end, yeah,
yeah,
wait at the, but it's great. Like it's just a little added extra bit to, make the song sound fun.
yeah, and it's cool, like you said, a darker, heavier atmosphere to the track. It's like a nice mix, sitting between track one and track three.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Jim.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, that cool heavy intro with that killer riff. I think they focus more on riffs and then these smaller solos.
Yeah.
But I mean, then this one's got a killer drum beat in it, so the drums are very like you can hear them really well in here. It's definitely a darker song and a great topic. Like as soon as I started listening to this, I thought of Ken. I like it when he says like when it slows down and hits the Bates Motel at about
Yeah,
2:05, the song
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
changes and goes a little bit more of a slower, darker melodic vibe, but then picks up one sort of I guess you could call it a riff solo. Uh, and then I thought it was more like a gang vocal at the end, but his kind of sneer at the end is pretty cool. Yeah, the album starts to really pick up some speed here with song number two. And I think that's a great track. My favorite's coming up, but that's still an awesome song.
Yeah,
cool.
sounds like we all like that. So, Jim, why don't you stay live with the third track, Meliah Rage, the instrumental?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's kind of a long instrumental, but
Yeah.
it's. I mean, you know, we've had 10 minuters on like Death Angel and stuff, so I think this is another situation where the band really takes this and just takes off with it. And I mean, I've got like a cool slow the intro with the guitars. The song builds up into a heavier song. Definitely, this song for musically has more of an earlier Megadeth vibe for me.
Yeah,
At 125, it's got this leading riff that's really, really strong. And then at 312, there's another different kind of riffing going on that's just, I mean, you can tell these guys are talented players. And I think on a 7-track album, it's pretty ballsy to put a 6-minute instrumental on there but they've got it placed perfectly. So they've got it smack dab between the Bates Motel and then Deadly Existence, which is really cool. It's not at the start, it's not at the end, so it's practically right in the middle, which is great. No, I think it's really, really good track. Maybe a little long, but
that's long.
nevertheless, I still think it shows off their talents. I would have liked maybe some longer solos in it, but the riffing in this song is just phenomenal, and the riffing on the album is.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I called out that 312 riff as
Yeah.
oddly enough, I had it at 316, but anyway, we never matched. But to me, that's like the highlight riff of the song. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, like I agree with you too, because for a 7 minute, there should
Yeah.
be a little bit more like shredding, like solo type stuff. But they did sort of focus more along I don't know, maybe something more like a Metallica, right? Like something they did,
True.
where it's more of a composition and it's whereas Death Angel, there's a lot more shredding and side like solos. This is more of a one solid piece that builds up and kind of ends with a musical crescendo or whatever you call it at the end. So, like, I
Mhm.
guess I get what they're doing, but I agree. I would have liked a bit more shredding on the solos in there. But Ken, what do you think?
yeah, pretty much. I agree with you both. Like, I think it's a little long. For me, I think about 4.5 minutes is fine. The other 3 minutes, it's all right. Like I like the big notable changes, the shifts in
Mhm.
tone. 117, 308. Those are good. Gets chuggy. But
Yeah.
once you get to like 430, the riffs are sharp. It's kind of cool, but I could do without from 430 onwards. You could just dump all that. I don't know, that's
I,
just me. I just think a 4 minute song is fine and it works, but I'll give them props for trying it. I mean, sure, why not? If you can pull off 7 minutes, go for it.
I
If
would
we
have
didn't
rather.
have that 7-minute song, this would have to be an EP. Given out,
Yeah, that's true. You got it. That's a good point. Yeah,
which
that's a
is
really
pretty
good point.
crazy, right? Like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, either you or Jim said that already, right? Like the longest song on a very short album is the instrumental. It's
exactly.
unusual, I guess.
And it's not the type of instrumental either that's just an instrumental. This could have had lyric. This could have had vocals to
Yeah,
it.
it's true. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could have. You're
yeah.
right.
Like you have at the Metallica first album there. What is it? Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth.
Yeah.
You couldn't really. That was more of a bass thing that broke into. I think this just shows. I think they should have put vocals to it.
Yeah,
But
you could have done that.
if they're heavily influenced by some of the big four, then a lot of the bands of that time were putting an instrumental on even on a shorter album. So I guess that's I never thought of it that way as well.
Yeah, interesting, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were or why they wouldn't have added another song or two
yeah,
on the album, but then again, maybe they didn't have anything else ready, so I don't know.
yeah.
Possible.
Okay, so
That's true too. That's true too, Billy. Like they're one song over an EP, and it's an instrumental.
yeah, well, as it is, like Jim, you mentioned the original cassette. The original
Yeah,
cassette on the side too, like more than half of that is just silent hissing,
exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
right? Like it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so that's the instrumental. So track number 4, we're already past the halfway point.
Yeah,
But
we are.
Deadly Existence, Ken, over to you.
Yeah, this song I like a lot. This is where they pick up, and there's a lot of serious crunch with those riffs.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of chugging speed to this song. I like it. This song really got me going because it's so great. And it's got these really, really dark vocals, well, actually, dark
Mhm.
lyrics. Vocals are good too. The dark lyrics is what I like about it. You're talking about society. You're talking about how war indoctrinates people, and how hatred just erases humanity and makes people into something else. I love it. It's great. It's a typical kind of thrash metal song. I would say this is like a very proto thrash metal kind of style song. And I love how the song remains really, really crunchy right up until the end. And then you get that. I find it odd. There's like a slight inhale right when the song ends, which I think is kind of funny. I don't know if it was done on purpose, but I thought it was interesting. But yeah, I like this song. This is a really solid, kind of dark, kind of thrashy song.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like this is my favorite one so far.
Yeah,
uh,
me too.
on the album. So yeah, I just like you said, it's more aggressive. So I like that. Mike's vocals are a little bit more like evil sounding, a little
Yes.
harsher. But still has that melodic hook to the singing, so that's really cool. And this is the first time we get backing vocals jump in, and
Mhm.
really
That's
well.
right. Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it a couple times, and the backing vocals in this band work, I think, just really work well. So that's
Yeah.
cool. We get the most pure guitar lead we've had so far, like around 340, but still criminally too short. Uh, but yeah, I agree with you, Ken. This is a really good one, and I think because it leans a bit more to our thrash roots, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
have a feeling Jimmy's gonna like it too.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites. I agree with everything you guys said. It's more of a heavier, darker song. I like the sort of I can't even think there's sort of gang shouts, but it's backing vocals, but they don't overdo it. And what I
No.
like about it, and then there's that
Mhm.
intro, kind of not really, kind of a light scream or a light yell. I kind of like that. This has got more of a traditional thrash chug to it for part of the song. So I think that's probably what makes us attracted to it a little bit more, in the sense of like, oh yeah, now it's starting to take off. The next couple of songs are awesome. This song, definitely one of my favorites on the album. Agree with everything you guys said. And I wish they had maybe taken a minute off their previous song and added it to this, and made this one a
I would
little bit
agree.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So, Jim, we'll stay with you. Track
Oh,
number 5, Enter the Darkness.
this is my favorite on the album. So this one just kicks ass for me. It's got a groovy, it's got a weird thrash chug. It's like, I don't know, it's melodically groovy, which is kind of cool. The vocals are kind of lower, and they're just so cool. I mean, and then there, as the song picks up, there's an evil laugh in this one as well too. But you know what this song reminds me of? It
Yeah.
reminds me of if it's not really super thrashy, so it's more like a Wasp song. I find his vocals on this really remind me kind of Blackie Lawless, but not. Blackie has signature vocals, so when you hear Blackie Lawless, you know who it's Blackie Lawless. But there's parts of it that just really remind me of that. But it's definitely more heavier than the traditional Wasp song. So, but I mean, oh no, this is one of my favorite, probably my 1A, and then there's still a 1B, and the one before this was a 1C. But yeah, this meaty part of the album is just wicked. I mean, I love this song, and I just think when the song, those lower kind of registered vocals, but they're still clean and clear, really suits this song. So I love it.
It's interesting you mentioned the Blackie Lawless. Like for me, like I like Mike's vocals here, like particularly the chorus, because he
Mhm.
actually
Yeah.
I don't know like how you'd say that, but he kind of like he really holds the notes on this song.
Mhm.
Like he extends them, right? So it sounds more musical and singing,
Yeah.
which is something Blackie's good at doing too, right? Like when he says like enter the darkness, enter the light, like he really holds the lyric on those words. And so for me, I really like that. And we haven't talked about the bass player yet, so
No.
track has the standout up front bass work, so that's really cool. Let's give kudos
Yeah.
to him as well. So yeah, Ken, what do you think?
Well, yeah, it's a strong song for many reasons. Also, like the lyrics, it's all about they're talking about death, but from the inside. So they mix horror imagery and existential dread. So it's a really, really dark song.
Mhm.
Very, I mean, I was reading that some people were comparing it to something like Dead Skin Mask or Fade to
Oh
Black,
yeah.
or or a coroner song, because it's just for the metaphysical kind of material that they put in their music, which I can
Mhm.
see. Which I can see. The chorus is really good, as you mentioned, Billy. I like that chorus too.
Mm.
But he has this one thing he does at like 2 minutes and 22 seconds where it's like he utters the phrase, "You are 6 feet under." I love that. It's just great. And he just throws it in there, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, the song itself on a whole is great. The solo is not bad. I think the vocals I wrote down were the best part of the song for me. I think it's
Nice.
sticking
Yeah.
with me. But it's a really, I agree, Jim. It's a really strong song, and they really hit their stride because now you're middle of the album and you get this. So I mean, what better way to make push the album along, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I find them that well, I guess I was gonna say the middle, like for me, the strong songs are like 4, 5, and 6, and
Yeah.
or no, sorry, like 5, 6, and 7. Well, 4 too, right? But that's kind of the end of the album.
Yeah. I know.
Normally,
No,
it would
that's
be
you're right.
normally it would be the middle of an album, but I guess here it's the end of the
You
album.
know what? I'm going to say this. I would rather them only have 7 really good songs on the album than release 7 and 2 shitty songs that we'd
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
this,
true. Or a bad cover, or
yeah,
like a
yeah, or a
stupid
terrible
cover,
cover of doing
Oh,
like
that's a
like
good
Purple
point.
Haze or something. Let's do Purple Haze
yeah, yeah,
or something stupid like
or
that.
Anarchy in the UK or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, and given the time, right? Like this is what 88.
Yeah.
Like that should have been right for a right for a cover song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, track number 6, Ken, will stay with you. We got another
yeah. It was a good song.
banger here, Impaling Doom.
Yeah, this is a great song. It's like so this is like a straight up horror themed thrash metal track, basically, because they use like satanic ritual, sacrifice, demonic violence. They use it all for this song, and they pack it all in there with the lyrics. So like the lyrics describe a group performing ritual killings. So it's like, yeah, they don't shy away from that, but it's great. It's to me, it's a barn burner. Like the 25 seconds in and then those chugs and that aggressive speed, that combination, wow, it's like it's music to my ears. And then right at 144, like you get those big,
Yeah.
huge riffs. It's just
Yeah.
they just pound it home with that. And the bass work here is pretty good too. I do
Oh,
like the bass work is pretty strong. It's a really solid song where everyone is doing their part and it just kind of gels well. But yeah, this song is so great. Like there's nothing bad about this song. I like every single moment of it.
yeah.
Awesome song.
Yeah, no, it's a good one for sure. And like my favorite part, you kind of alluded to it, but like that bass solo, it kicks in
Mhm.
3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then Mike shouts like now,
Go.
and then
Yeah, go. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
now or go, or and then all of a sudden the track just takes off into
Yeah.
like it's yeah, I love that part. This actually just past 4 minutes is my favorite solo,
Mhm.
but again, not to sound repetitive, it's ridiculously short again, but.
Yeah.
So, Jim, what would you add?
Yeah, this one is I mean, first of all, the song title, Slayer song title. Like, this is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
inhaling doom.
Yeah.
Like, I
You're right.
love it. It's fast. It's definitely more of a thrashier vein, so that makes us happy. I love the when he says "Death comes for you," and he's got that
Yeah.
cool chorus in there in that evil kind of clear but very evil kind of vocal range that he does. It's got a real the chorus on it's wicked at 140, like 144. Ken, you said that those riffs that just
Yeah.
explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at 3 o'clock, the wicked bass line then just rips into go. And then the song just goes, takes off. And I mean, this is, man, I would have liked to have a repetitive, maybe an 8 with something like this on there would be pretty cool. But, and thinking about this band, I really wonder, man, it's too bad they didn't get on like a tour with Metallica around the late 80s or in early 90s. That would have been so cool, like
Well, I think Slayer would have been good with Slayer.
Slayer, or even like, and going out, like, I know bands used to not go in threes. It generally was only two back in the day. So it would have been so cool to have this band like as a opener for like Testament and Slayer or something like that would have
Even
been really
Anthrax,
cool.
dude, going out with
Yeah, oh
Anthrax,
yeah. Oh, Anthrax.
they'd be great.
I think they're very similar. I even get like visions of Joey Belladonna, but not because of the Native American headdress that's on the cover of it. I just kind of get that feeling. There's so much of the big four in here that it's they kind of borrow from everybody, which is cool. And but no, this song is explosive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
So
what?
if Meliah Rage is watching this or going to watch this, put out a new album with a whole bunch of this on it.
You know what? This album we're talking about, like it kind of not that it's like stylistically it's similar. Like it reminds me a lot, like same kind of time period. Like you remember the band? There was some name changes, but Rothschild America.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
First two
thrash
albums.
with the extreme melody and the vocals were very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Like reminds me a lot, and those guys jumped on like one of my favorite tours of all time. Was back on the Practice What You Preach tour. We had
Oh.
Practice What You Preach Testament. We had Annihilators, Alice in Hell. And
Oh
then the
wow.
opening band was Rothschild America with I forget what they had that 3D album was second, but I forget what their first one was called.
The
Climbing the
first
walls.
Oh,
Yeah.
Climbing the Walls. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Meliah Rage would have fit
Great
on
album.
or exactly the same.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
That's a good
True. I
comparison.
forgot. And they would be great. Like, I mean, I know Alice in Chains, or sorry, Alice in Chains, Alice in Hell with Annihilator would have been new as well. But man, that would have been a great pair. That would have been great to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Let's get back to the
What happened to Rothschild America? Their first two albums were really good, and then after that, they kind of
wasn't there
changed.
more legal problems or something?
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
They had
they
some legal, yeah.
acted in,
Yeah.
or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
That first album, especially Climbing the, that was wicked.
Yep. Climbing the Walls is an awesome album.
Yeah.
they had a video. I mean, I know we're getting off track, but they had like a video that got pretty good airplay. Like that's
Yeah.
how I discovered them on Climb. I forget, was it the title track maybe, or
I think it was. Yeah.
I remember seeing
Ed Repka cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, cool. So yeah, so back to track 7, and this may or may not, depending on the version you might own, this may or may not be the final track. On the OG, it was the final. Uh,
Yeah.
the pack.
Pack.
Jim, why don't you take it here?
Well, I think this one here, what I love about this song, it's a great way, it bookends the album perfectly. But I got to just mention at 407, that wicked drum solo. So
Yeah.
you get a
Yeah.
drum solo, like there is no more drum solos on any. And I know a lot of people, well, we don't want to hear a drum solo. I think this fits perfectly. You've got this heavy song intro, the pack. I love the chorus to it. And the drums throughout it are just on fire. And then I think it's like 138 till the vocals even cut in. So it is just flying. It's fast and heavy, and it just kind of leaves it all out on the field, so to speak. But that 407 drum solo that just kind of goes for quite a while. Then the guitar kicks back in, and then it kind of continues with more of a drum focus. I think that's great. I love like the 70s Kiss albums, the Kiss live albums, so Live 1 and Live 2, when they, I know it's live and they always had a drum solo to give everybody sort of a break, that sort of thing. But I love that in a song. I think it's great. We need to bring that back. And, for all the drum fans out there, this is definitely a song for you. I just think it was really cool. And what's great is, because the song prior, they had that really cool bass line and a little bit of a bass, kind of a mini solo there with the heavy bass riffing. I thought that was pretty good. I think the song finishes off the album great. And again, my only complaint about this album, I think it's maybe one or two songs too short. I wouldn't want shitty songs on here like we talked about a cover, but I would like maybe a couple more original tracks, just even like a really 2.5 minute speedy balls out one, and then maybe another 4 minute on there and bring it up over like 42 minutes or whatever. I think would have been just the icing on the cake.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with you. I like this song. I think it's another great one.
Yeah.
Like at 3 minutes, we actually get the longest guitar solo on the album.
True.
And we actually get twins. Like it's like they're trading off the solos, the two guitar players. So that's like the first time we actually got that on the album. But the only other thing I'd say on this and pass it to you, Ken, is I'm kind of the opposite of you, Jim. I find like I love a drum solo, and I think every live performance and live album should have a drum solo.
You don't like it?
I just think it stands out like a sore thumb in the middle of like a studio track.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's like, okay, we need another minute on the album. How are we, we're barely hanging on to a full length, like throw in a 1 minute drum solo. Like, I don't know, to me, I enjoy it. It's good. He's doing a good job. It just, I don't know. To me, it's not suited there, but I don't know. Small little thing. I love the track overall. So it's just a nitpick. And I love the way the track closes really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You get some good like thrash pummeling to close the track. So that's the way you'd want to, this was their closer. So that's the way you'd want to close it. So
yeah.
Ken, over to you.
Yeah, this is another kind of horror themed song. So the pack, which the lyrics describe about a doomed victim stalked by a relentless pack, doesn't tell you what. So they could be vampires, it could be werewolves. I always assume
cool.
Werewolves. That's my impression. With that drum solo, that I will say this, I agree with Billy that I think it's a little out of place. Now, what they could have did with this song, because of the lyrical structure, and then you're kind of being hunted, the lyrics are suggesting you're being hunted. The drum solo could have led up to something like the pack is on the prowl or they're chasing. Like the way it was structured, I think it could work for the song, but I just don't think they really had the full gravitas of what they were trying to do with the song in my mind. So it's a little odd.
You mean maybe create like a desperate, maybe like the pack is bearing down on you type.
Right. So so more of like treat the solo as a metaphor, and it would maybe give the song a bit more oomph. Because I agree with Billy. It's like, okay, the drum solo is great. Technically, it's really good, but why is it there?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little odd. But besides that, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I mean, also Mike puts that little shout in there at 2:59 before the major solo, which I kind of like quite a bit. Overall, technically, it's a really, really good song all the way through. As a closer, yeah, this song's better than the opening song in my mind.
True. Yes.
I agree.
It's way better than the opening song.
Yeah. No, I agree. So do you guys want to tackle like so that's the end of the way the original OG album ends.
Yeah.
Of course, the later versions, like a year or two later, track number 8 was added, which is the title track, Kill to Survive. So, I mean, I've just asked around to some of my old guys who have been around even, as long as we have and kind of get their views. The memory seems to be that the record label thought that the lyrics and the song title was potentially too violent. So I don't get that. It is a major label, so they could be picky. But then some of the other stuff on here is not the tamest either.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I don't really get it, but like
I don't know.
but I love the song. It's an amazing song.
Yeah, the song is great. Yeah, I agree.
How the hell can a record label 1988 say that the lyrics were, when you got lyrics like Angel of Death out there? Like, man, I don't know. I know it's not the same label, but Jesus Christ.
What label was Slayer on for that? I don't think it was
Slayer was on I don't remember.
Def Jam. They're on Def Jam.
Yeah, no way it was on Epic Records or anything.
No, they're on Def Jam.
And maybe it's the gunshots. I don't know. Like, how like the song has the gunshots in it. Maybe that's a problem for them.
I think the word kill to survive is what they have a problem with.
But then it's on the album cover.
I know. I know. I would agree with you, but I mean, it's I don't know. I can't explain it either. Why they would have
it makes no sense.
No,
like the album's way too short. This is a great song.
Yeah.
We know it was ready. It came out like the year later on. I think Ken, you showed it like that EP or something there.
Yeah, it's on the EP. Live. They sang it live.
And then right after that EP was issued, all future presses of Kill to Survive had it put on.
Yeah, it's weird. But the song is good though. It's like a speed metal kind of speed metal song. It's short for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, but it's got a really good chorus. It's really chuggy. I like it. This is a great way to end the album, really, when you think about it. But
plus, it would have fit on this perfectly. I don't see I don't know why. Like I know it's Def Jam Records, but also every major record store in the country. Maybe I don't know. Maybe record stores. I don't think Slayer's Rain and Blood or Hell Awaits was sold, and maybe back then it would be. I don't even know what J.C. Penney in the States, maybe the Bay and Eaton's here. Maybe it wasn't sold there. Maybe that sort of stuff was more just record store stuff. I don't know, but I find that's pretty weak. Like just, man, like,
I think there's some violent like lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, even Metallica. And I know Metallica's first album came out originally and then came out on Elektra, which was a subsidiary of, I think, Atlantic, I think maybe, or they
Atlantic, it was Atlantic. Yeah.
So they kind of handled the more off the wall stuff, but I don't know. I just find that's a bit of a cop out. Like I think the record company picked these guys up and then just kind of used them to have them as, okay, this is our heavy metal thrash part, and then just kind of they didn't promote it that well or didn't push it that well. So.
Oh, I agree. Like Epic picked them up in the hopes of breakthrough, and thrash was dying, and they just kicked them right off the label. Yeah, they didn't give them any support or additional tries.
I mean, what was it? Michael Jackson, I think, original Thriller was on Epic. So maybe Madonna. I don't know. They were Atlantis, I think, which was part. I mean, Epic had some pretty big mainstream. Maybe it was a little too off mainstream for them. I guess I don't know.
Wasn't that first Faith No More, which was a huge album? That was Epic, I think.
the name of the song was, or the name of the song was Epic, I think.
Yeah.
That their song. I don't know if that was Epic Records,
Oh, maybe
but
not.
it could have been.
Hmm.
That's
Anyway,
interesting though.
yeah. Yeah, and it's a shame because like it's probably the most anthemic chorus like they have on the whole album, to be honest, right? It's like a perfect sing-along chorus. So
No,
uh
it's great. Yeah, it's a great song.
yeah.
Even on the live up sorry on the live CD, it's really good live. Really solid.
Yeah, I don't have
Totally
that
great.
CD. I gotta try to find that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Faith No More.
I
Faith
got
No
the
More was
Hughes
on Reprise.
reprise. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm getting mixed up with their hit song Epic.
yeah, their song Epic.
Oh
You
well.
know, I remember when that. It's funny you brought that up because I remember when that came out, and I remember sitting there going like, "Oh man, this is heavy metal." you know,
Yeah,
I
that's
like
so
Faith No More.
great.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'll
that's
be
so great.
honest though, when I heard Epic, I went and bought it.
so did I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
All
think
right,
they did a
cool.
cover of War Pigs on that too. So
Oh,
I think
true.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump to the last segment. So again, talked about it before, kind of thrash history. So a bit of a what if type thing, because we all have cases where albums, and Jim, you raised it. If it was something would have come out earlier, that band could have been like a big four band or whatever.
yeah,
So, yeah, let's hit a couple of these. I thought it'd be kind of fun. I'm
Sure.
curious to see what we come up with. So. The first one is one album that, if it was released a couple years earlier, would be considered a classic. So, Ken, why don't we start with you?
Well, this is in my mind a decent album. Cyclone Temple from Chicago. They formed in 89. They released an album, I Hate, Therefore I Am, in 91. I think that's a really, really good album. Maybe if it was actually pushed back and came out in 87 or 86, maybe the band would have had a larger life cycle. They folded in 95, but it's actually a really, really solid album. Not a very well known album, but a lot of really good considerable thrash moments on it for me. That's one album I think that might. I mean, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, but I think it could have been a lot bigger than what the band was. But that's where I would start.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Uh,
I've got a great example. I
yeah,
think
go
that
ahead. Jim.
even though these are classic thrash albums, I think that if the Ultraviolence for Death Angel came out 2 or 3 years earlier, and I know that some of the band members were 14, I get it. I totally get it. But I'm thinking of the whole sort of skip where they didn't have an album out for 10 or 12 years or whatever. I think because Act 3 came out and was just so awesome that they were gaining such momentum. You had Ultraviolence, you had Frolic, then you had Act 3. If these all would have came out 2 to 3 years earlier, and I think that momentum would have been there, and maybe they would have had enough cred going into right after, say, if Act 3 was in the late 80s. I think that maybe they would have gotten a couple more albums under their belt, because I think an album right after Act 3 would have just ripped. I mean, the way they were going as well. It's kind of sad that they just kind of went absolutely dormant. They got kicked off their record label. The record label, actually, they had to do one more album. They released that. I think it was the greatest hits album. They didn't even use the logo and whatever,
No,
and it
no,
just
no,
kind
no.
of
Yeah.
went flat. So it's almost like, and that falls under the other question that you had there. Not to jump ahead, but like, this is a classic case where a record label just hoard them because they use them. I mean, Act 3 sold so well and was probably in a lot of people's list for top 20 thrash albums of all time. How do you almost end on your highest record? There's no even follow up or anything until years later, and I think that's the issue. Like, it's just that magical time around 85, 86 is when you get that first album. Like, the Ultraviolence would have been such a holy cow, that would have been such a balls out album for the time. Like, it would have just everybody would have just been blown away with it. I think it would have raised their stock a lot. Just my feeling on it. And I think that whole gap in their career, probably, maybe it would have still happened. I don't know. Because I mean, the times were changing come 92, 93, but still, I think that death metal, thrash metal fared way better than a lot of the other metal genres that went through. I mean, even new wave of British heavy metal in the 90s, you had Judas Priest, Rob Halford left, the Blaze, the two albums from Ripper were kind of, even though I don't mind them, it wasn't Judas Priest as much as everybody would, they kind of flopped there. Same with Iron Maiden with the exodus of Bruce Dickinson. The Blaze Bayley albums, although great, I mean, they went from playing massive stadiums to playing much smaller venues, and it just kind of was a real dark time. I think that the death metal and thrash metal, had they had maybe a little bit more momentum going into the 90s, but they were the ones that were keeping it going underground quite a bit. I mean, you still had Megadeth was still releasing, other than Risk, some pretty good stuff. Anthrax, I don't know, just I think Death Angel would be a great example of that, but it could be so many albums. Like, you could even talk about Forbidden. Twisted into Form's their second album, but even the first album, if you rewind it for a couple of years, I think maybe things would have been a lot different. I don't know.
Yeah, you can pick a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the one thing I think with Death Angel is at least I take some solace. Like, it's not as criminal. Like, at least they're still going today
Oh yes.
and make somewhat of a career.
But
Whereas,
the
like,
gap,
Ken's
really
pick,
bothered me. The gap
the
always
band
bothered me.
died.
Yeah.
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 But the
Yeah.
gap just bothered me.
Happens.
It's like so long without an album. And
Yeah.
I remember that Greatest Hits album, and I'm going like, is this even the Death Angel? It doesn't look like their logo. It was confusing, even though the songs were there.
Yeah. And wasn't part of that gap, like, wasn't there a car accident or
There
something?
was, yeah.
Yeah,
Bus
or
accident.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The drummer got hurt. Andy
Yeah.
got hurt.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm going with an album I know all three of us love. We did a podcast on it. And I personally think it's the most criminally underrated album of all time. Came out in 1991. I think it needed to come out in 88 with Justice and, kind of around that time. Heathen Victims of Deception.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I would
just
agree.
insanity that this album doesn't get more respect. And it was too late, right? Towards the end of 91, it was all going out the window at that point. And the band's still going. Heathen's still there. I mean, they're still touring, but like, I mean, it's a pretty small band, unfortunately. But this was their opus, their masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great album, man.
Yeah, it's just a shame. Anyways.
I agree. I think that's a great pick, because if you rewind it, they got 5 albums, 4 albums,
Yeah.
5 albums. Yeah, you rewind it, you get that first 2 out in the late 80s. Oh man, they just would have been like, they would have just catapulted. We'd be talking about them like we talk about Overkill and Testament, I think.
Yeah, this was one that came to my mind immediately for timing of a couple of years.
Good choice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the other one, and so, feel free to throw out an example. I mean, Jim, you raised this, right? Some of it is problems with labels. So one band example, a thrash band where they definitely signed to the wrong label. Jim, why don't you start here?
Well, I was kind of wondering about this, and I thought to myself, it's kind of a hard question, because, like, you think, what if the reverse? What if Slayer signed with Epic, or signed with Atlantic, or signed with one of the big record companies? What would have happened? I mean, it would be back prior to Seasons. It probably would have been hard to do. So, but I mean, would have there been a push? What would have happened? I mean, they gained notoriety more underground than anybody else. So I think the way they went was really good. And then by the time they hit Seasons and put out their first real video and stuff like that, it kind of went that way. But I think it's criminal that like a band like Testament, which I brought up, you had the first three albums, and I mean, Practice What You Preach sold really, really well. And I mean, the New Order is probably one of my top five thrash albums of all time. I know it's based on business, and I get that, but like, can you imagine you put out The Ritual, then you put out Low, and then you get kicked off, and you got to go find a new record company for the next one? Would have been that Demonic, I think the death metal one they did, and it's just kind of like there's no push, there's no nothing. Yes, the record buying people back in 95 and 94 that were still there buying records. I was still buying heavy metal records, and I'm sure there was lots of people because there was no streaming or no online videos and stuff like that. However, having that push in behind is just, I think all the metal bands went through that to some degree, unless you were like Megadeth and Metallica, who were able to control it. But I had a hard time with this because I was thinking on it backwards. Like I just picture Slayer, and I bring Slayer up just because I'm thinking of like the Antichrist. Like what are we going like? Could you imagine walking into a record exec's office, one of these guys that, I don't know, manages Madonna or whatever, and you're like, okay, this is our album cover. And it's like, no, and it's just like, what would have happened? I mean, how many, even in the 2000s and late 90s, some of their album cover, like God Hates Us All, got kind of banned. And so did Christ Illusion. They came out with a duplicate album. And then in those cases, it was all about which stores were going to carry it. Walmart became such a big player in the US in the late 80s, and Canada more into the 90s, but became such a player, and where they were going to be a department store carrying this music, they wanted to have a say in whether it was going to be a proper cover and whether they were going to market it or whatever. I just think all these things just swarm in and really attack the metal community and the metal artists. I mean, talk about being up against a wall constantly. But I'm dying to hear your guys' examples for sure.
Ken?
I actually would bring up Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And Diabolic Fringe is a small local label, Diabolic Force, I should say. A small label. But imagine if they were on something like Roadrunner, Megaforce, or Capitol. Yeah. Maybe they would have had a larger profile outside of Canada. I mean, I know they're kind of a cult following, and they're still a band, and they still make records. But I just often wonder how big could they have been if they were actually on a larger US label,
like Combat Records. Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, or like Combat, or like Earache, or one of those labels where they were specifically gunning for like thrash. Who knows? I'm not diminishing the band in any way. I think they're fantastic. They're one of my favorite bands. But I'm just saying, like, maybe their profile would have been a lot larger if they were on an American label. That's just something I think about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Like, because this one, like Jim, to your point, like if Slayer went on the big label. But maybe that's kudos to Slayer for being smart enough to know better, right? Like to not sign on a big label, right? Like I don't know if the big labels gave them more money, but like you almost gotta wonder, right? The band knows. I mean, like like a band like Slayer knows they're not going to do well on like I don't know, CBS Records or on something like that.
Well, generally, most of the smaller labels are subsidiaries of the bigger ones, but I mean, when you get a record advance of $200,000, you have to pay it back. So, like, they pay it back in sales. So you take a lower residual, or you sign off your rights or whatever. I think with Slayer, I don't think any of the big guys even wanted to touch them. It's like when you watch the NWA, the story of the movie there that came out of NWA there, when they were trying to get a record deal, and people all the record execs were there watching them going, no. When you come out, I remember one line in it where he goes, "If you find the next Bon Jovi, give me a call."
Yeah,
This is a gangster rap. Nobody wanted to touch it, and then
it's a
of
good
course,
movie.
but yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
But Slayer must have, I mean, kudos to them. I mean, artistic. I'll tell you right now, a lot of those album covers would have never happened, and some of those songs probably not.
Yeah.
Well, but don't forget though, Rick Rubin courted them.
Yeah,
He came to them to, and I know Dave Lombardo was the one who brokered the deal for them to go to Def Jam.
yeah.
So who knows? But that was the right choice at the right time for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I always think like Metal Blade Records is such a great label, right? Because
Yep.
like I mean obviously he could only sign so many people, but like you're covered with a record label owner who understands metal and loves metal and he helped create the scene and so but yeah, I mean everybody can sign the Metal Blade. So but yeah,
Right.
the example I had was again, you could probably pull a lot of stuff, but Forbidden. And so like
Yes.
you have
Good
combat
choice.
and so combat had more of the thrash, right? The more of the heavier thrash, and I know they also were ended up on Relativity, which is a sub label of a bigger label, and but like if you think about combat, I mean, Forbidden was more like, especially the second album, was more technical thrash, more polished, and like it didn't fit with some of the other sort of combat type stuff. So more complex, not radio or video friendly, really. But then too polished for underground. So like it was interesting. Like they were kind of, I always found them a bit lost. I almost think they would have done better on a label like Metal Blade, but who knows?
True.
If Metal Blade would have been interested in them, but um, so okay,
Mhm.
cool. And then geography. So one thrash band that was hurt by geography. Jim?
Oh, I think Harlot, one of my favorite Australian thrash bands.
Yeah.
I think like I bought all last year after we did our what did we do? We did a show on one of the bands. Which
Mortal
Australian
Sin.
band? Sorry?
We did Mortal Sin.
Mortal Sin, which was wicked. So then I absolutely fell in love with Harlot. So and there's nothing there. I mean, I asked Billy, I remember asking you, did you see them at WAC? And you were like, possibly, I'm not sure. Maybe over the years they might have been there, but it's just, and then you can look at another Australian band. And the reason why I'm picking on Australia is just because it's so far, Destroyer 666, which is a wicked, wicked band, which ended up sort of kind of morphing to Germany a little bit more because they were on a German label there. But Harlot, which their albums sound just like old school Slayer to me, and I think it's so awesome. People need to hear it. And anyways, it's just they're a band that I think if they were in the U.S. or maybe even Europe, they would, or even Canada, they probably would have been have more notoriety in the scene for sure.
Yeah, that's an excellent pick. Because I
Yeah.
win Australia too, but I win Mortal Sin.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
Okay.
I went
Yes,
with.
Mortal
Oh,
Sin at least got some
I got the
success.
same pick.
Yeah, okay. So they had some success, but Harlot pretty much like they I mean they had success. They obviously have albums out, but they were not as successful as Mortal Sin, who were
No.
earlier on the scene, right? But they also got hit by the timing thing too, I guess.
Yes.
So that's who you had, Ken, Mortal Sin?
Yeah, Mortal Sin. Yeah,
Yeah, like, I
because
mean,
we talked about that, and on that
yeah,
podcast we did. Their struggles were very. It was clear that they had struggles getting outside the U.S.
yeah,
Remember that, or getting into the U.S. I should say.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
they
know
were.
what?
They were
Another good point would be the Teutonic Four. Other than Creator, who broke into the U.S. like probably with their what was the 1989 album there? One of my favorites. Jesus, oh God, the one with the cover of just them on it. Oh, that
Oh,
was kind of
Extreme Aggression?
yeah, Extreme Aggression. I mean, they broke before that, but I find like even you think about band like Tankard, even Sodom to some degree, and even Destruction, like I don't know, it makes you wonder if they were actually like they're so huge in Europe, so huge in Germany, and I mean, metal is so like Billy's goes to Wacken every year, and it's such a different scene. Would have those bands at that time been on an American label or been in? I mean, I know Creator was for that point, but would they have? And Creator made the jump with Extreme Aggression, definitely. And I mean, that album absolutely ripped over here. But it kind of makes you wonder, like Sodom to some degree. I mean, everybody's touring now, but I don't know. I just think it's geography that I guess I guess it works out for the best, because in Europe metal's much more stronger to some
Yeah,
degree,
that's the
I
key,
think.
right? They're probably
Yeah,
a better place than being in Canada, for example.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just thinking of their first, like, I mean, these bands have been around for 40 years. So, like, when the thrash movement was happening, these bands coming over. And I guess you could, like, but then again, like Saxon, just a new wave of British heavy metal band, they changed their whole outlook when they did Innocence Is No Excuse, trying to break into that North American market. I love that album. That was my first album I got from them, but I can see why they alienated some of their old fans, because they kind of went in definitely a different, more glam look, and just a little bit different sound. So it's weird, how geography just, in the old days for heavy metal, it was, you got to make it in the U.S. And now, like, you've got China, Japan, you've got Germany, Europe is just full. It's just metal is flourishing over there.
And don't forget that probably the biggest market now, South America.
Yeah, exactly. South America,
South
huge.
America,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. So Ken, next question. One band that could have exploded with a different vocalist.
That's
well, I was thinking about this one. I guess it's debatable. But the band Darkness out of Germany, which I liked, one of the lower tier German bands. I thought the vocalist was Oliver Furnickel, was kind of all right. But if they had a more dynamic vocalist, who knows? Maybe their sound would have actually been expanded, and they would have got more interest. Then now it's debatable, but because there's a lot of these second and third tier thrash German bands who, if they had better personnel, maybe things would have been different. That was the one band that I was thinking of offhand. I'm sure there are better examples, but that was
That's cool.
my thought.
I have a controversial one, I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Sean Killian in Violence. Now,
Okay.
obviously,
Yeah.
Violence is still going today, but if
Yes.
we're honest with ourselves, there's very limited output. The band is maybe C level if we're gonna rank them like today.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, the musicianship on that debut is just ridiculously good. And some people love Sean, right? Like, and other people
Yeah.
completely hate him. Like, like I think the band could have been, maybe been twice as successful at least with a vocalist that was a little bit more, not quite so unique, if you will, right? Like would have appealed to a broader audience. They could have been like Testament now, maybe. Whereas still doing like header tours with a more mainstream singer. And if they kept going, right? We know they stopped doing output for years, but that's kind of an example that comes to mind for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Jim, how about you?
Well, this was a hard question too, because I went the route of, if they had a more solid lineup, I think that, Annihilator, if they had, like, I love the first grouping of Annihilator records, and we have even 3 vocalists to some degree, and then there's more. It just changed so much over the years. I mean, obviously, for obvious reasons and whatnot, but I think, like, you had lightning in a bottle, especially with the first 2 albums, and you had 2 vocalists. So I think that going in that vein, and I mean, I Kill the King and stuff like that, there's some great albums there, but I just think maybe the consistency of having the vocalist sound would have been, I mean, they came out of the gate so strong, and I think nothing, a slight against any vocalists that carried on or anything like that, but it just kind of, I think it may have been to some degree a little disjointed as the catalog continues. And I think that would be my only thing. But I get, like, there's a lot of people who don't like Chuck Billy's vocals on some things. There's a lot of people who aren't keen on Bobby Blitz. Maybe, and Overkill is such a successful thrash band. They could be my top five, my big five for the US. Maybe, I don't know. I couldn't hear an Overkill song not sung by him. So it kind of, I don't know how it would work out. So it's kind of a weird thing, but I honestly thought of Annihilator right away. I mean, I understand that things had to change in that, but I just, maybe a more fluid, solid sound would have been definitely more beneficial, I think.
Okay. So last question, and then we'll wrap it up. So, an album that like an album that sort of deserved more, like whether it be music video, MTV, or Much Music in Canada, or even like magazine coverage, but didn't get it, like, and really limited the band. Any thoughts here, Ken?
Yeah. Infernal Majesties, None Shall Defy.
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an awesome album, and I'll apply it to the Canadian side, because I don't think Much Music ever had it in rotation or played it, and it's equally as good as anything that Sacrifice put out in my mind.
Yeah,
It,
yeah. No, it's a good
it
one.
hardly gets talked about, and it's a solid thrash record. Maybe because they were in Montreal. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but I never understood why that record never got much more play on Much Music. It should have. It should have, in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Um, yeah, for me, I had there may have been like a video, like we didn't get much airplay in Canada, but you may have got some in the US, but very little coverage of a killer thrash band that was one of the OGs in the Bay Area, and I'm gonna go Laz Rocket. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
choice.
two albums, like in '89, Annihilation Principle, and '87, Know Your
Yep.
Enemy. I mean, I love those two albums.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of the big thrash bands were opening for Laz Rocket in the early days. So like it makes no sense. Like these guys just didn't
Yep.
get any coverage anywhere, but they were one of the first on the scene to do it. So that's just bizarre to me. So
That's a
um
good choice.
yeah, I mean that's maybe something we should cover one time in the future.
Well, I
Absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
you watch any thrash documentary, and Laz Rocket is they're just mentioned like hand over fist.
Is there an
That's a really
original?
good pick.
Yeah.
So
But
I'll go with
there-
your Laz Rocket, and I'm going to raise you a Hyrax.
Oh,
Hmm?
yeah.
I mean, I know, but like when you break, you've got. I go with Raging Violence, but you could go with any of the albums. Like there was nothing. I mean, I don't even know exactly. Like I get it. This would fall under record company promo and stuff like that. Like what exactly? I mean, this was still. I mean, I think this was released under Metal Blade, I believe, or eventually got picked up by Metal Blade. But nothing like Iraq's such a strong band, especially in California. When you break it down, they were one of the godfathers up there with kind of. I mean, I think the first album came out in '85, so like they were right there on the scene as well too. So but I don't think you even got made mention of them on Much Music or the Power Hour or even
Oh, no.
like Headbangers Ball or anything
Not
like
here,
that.
not in Canada.
No. So like it's just kind of sad. But I thought Laz Rocket, I didn't even think of them. I was trying to get something from like the Bay Area, LA, kind of California type thing that I could say, well, these guys. But you watch any thrash documentary and Caton's on there, Laz Rocket's on. Those are great picks. So
Well, he's well respected.
yeah,
As a vocalist, he's well respected.
yeah.
And they're coming to Toronto in April.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, I
Nice.
saw that. Eh,
Good to see
who
them.
are they with?
Yeah.
Do you know the bands, or they're just local bands, maybe?
I can't remember Billy offhand.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking they're like some smaller bands,
They
maybe.
probably are. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's worth seeing.
yeah. I definitely want to go to that show.
And they
I've
were
never
Oh, that would
amazing.
be cool.
Yeah, I got to see
seen.
them at Hell's Heroes and Wacken. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, Caden's still amazing live. He's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's
I
great.
on his I'm friends with him with Hyrax, and they'll stream their whole shows. So like the Toronto show,
Yeah.
they'll stream it on like I'll be able to watch it on Messenger. So they'll stream it on there, so I can watch it live with it. It's really cool. I watched like probably 10 shows on their last tour last year. It was really neat.
Cool.
And puts on one hell of a show. Like, oh man, you got to go to that.
Yeah,
And
like
you saw my Wacken.
in Germany, he jumped off the stage, he got into the crowd, like it was like crazy. Like he's like he performs like he's still in his 20s.
Yeah. And they
Yeah,
have
so
some
it's at the
wicked photos
Garrison.
of him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, it's at the Garrison.
Oh,
I was just
Garrison,
seeing
yeah,
this.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll go see that.
yeah, yeah. I want to go to it too, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wicked.
I've never seen him live, so I'm curious to see the show.
Yeah, cool.
But I don't. It's not giving me the other bands. I'm not sure. I don't. I think they're the only really major band on the
Yeah, I
bill.
have a feeling, right? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you're right.
Oh, well, more time for them.
I
I
think he just played
finally.
Montreal in this fall, didn't he? I think they
Did he?
did. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hyrax.
Oh, probably. Yeah, they're on a tear now with the touring.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't get it's not giving me any names of other bands.
Yeah, it's
So it
probably
might.
they'll announce the locals later.
Yeah, that's what I would probably think. It's only announcing Hyrax.
Okay.
It'll be a good show. It'll be a good
Yeah.
show.
I'm gonna. Geez, I'm drawing a blank. Ken, who's the band? Perfect band to open for them would be. We saw them open, I think, for Coroner, the Toronto band. Was it Coroner?
I think Ken's frozen.
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Ken's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Were
I
you
was
able
like
to?
talking and you guys and nobody was saying anything. I was like, oh, you guys are frozen. Like, oh shit.
My
Oh.
Zoom screen fell off. Like it was like fell off my computer, so I didn't even notice that you were frozen.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here? And I was talking to myself.
Who's that local Toronto band, the thrash band that they opened for Sacrifice? I think we also saw them for maybe Coroner.
What, Corrosive?
Yeah, Corrosive. That would be a good opening band.
Oh, they're a great band. Corrosive is awesome.
Yeah, that would be a good opening band for Hyrax.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I'd be totally up for that. Yeah, it's not giving me any.
Its
No.
tickets are $41.75.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually okay.
Hmm?
Yeah, at the Garrison. It's April 1st.
Okay, I got it's Warsenal,
Okay, they're
Deathloose,
local.
Savage Master, and one more they haven't listed yet.
Yeah, they're all local bands. So these are all
Okay.
like Toronto bands.
That Warsenal's a good band.
Yeah, yeah, I know them. I know
Yeah.
them. Savage Master, I know too.
Yeah.
And Desolus, I don't know who Desolus is.
Yeah.
Oh, is Desolus the band that played at the Sacrifice show? I think it is.
That my memory was going to that for some reason, but I could be wrong. I maybe.
So it actually may not be a bad show.
Oh, that'd be wicked. I wish I could go to that.
Even if it's just Hyrax, that's worth it alone.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So
With-
that kind of wraps another episode of Thrashcast. We want to thank everyone for following along, of course. We appreciate it. Thanks to my co-hosts, Jim and Ken. And we'll see you all next week. We're still kind of finalizing topics, so stay tuned. We'll probably, I know Ken's good at promoting who we're doing in advance. So, yeah, stay tuned. And thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.